What's up, guys? I'm Chase.
And I'm Landon. Today we're going to be giving you everything you need to know about the upcoming Air Jordan 1 Low Travis Scott and Fragment collab and how to shop. Alright, so first, thank you guys for stopping by to check us out. Now let's start off with the basic info for this release before we move on. So this Jordan 1 Low collab is set to release in less than a week on August 13th, pending any delay, with the retail price of $150 in men's sizing. And that release time is going to be set for 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern time on the Sneakers app. So don't forget to go in and turn on the notifications so you'll be reminded to enter that release. And this is set up to be a Sneakers draw, so you should have 10 minutes to enter for these shoes once they become available. But just to be safe, you may as well be ready to enter right whenever the release opens up in case there's any glitches in the app. Because this is a release that you really do not want to miss out on. And then for sizing, this is going to be set up to be a men's only sizing release. And I would expect it to stay that way, but that pretty much covers the date and the time on these. So let's take a closer look at the overall design and the reason for the hype on these shoes. All right, so checking out the overall design and the reason for the hype on these, this release is like a three-headed monster because you have the Jordan 1 Low model, which, you know, people are always going to go after. And then that's paired with the Travis Scott reverse swoosh. And his touches on these, and then you're going to top all of that off with some subtle Fragment branding on the back. So this release has kind of been circulating for a while now, and it's one of those for me that it just seems like it's never going to finally drop until it does. So this is definitely a week that most, if not all, sneakerheads have been waiting for. But now let's just go ahead and break down the design just a little bit. So clearly Jordan 1 Lows don't, gain quite as much traction as Jordan 1 Highs do in the sneaker community, but this is still a super clean look. And I guess I'm personally a little bit biased because I do prefer lows just because they're more wearable to me, on a daily basis. But this high top colorway, or the high top colorway for these, they released with really similar color blocking, and it's going to outperform these on the aftermarket, of course, but that shouldn't take away from this Jordan 1 Low design itself. So as you can see, with these being a retro low, they're going to have that Nike Air tag on the tongue, as opposed to the Jumpman logo that would normally show up on those Jordan 1 Lows. And then the cream looking laces and the midsole kind of paired along with that cream Nike swoosh, or reverse Nike swoosh. It just flows really nicely with the black, the blue, and the white on these shoes. And then the best part for me, or the area that has the most going on, definitely comes from the back, or on the heel of the shoes. So on the left shoe, you're going to find the Travis Scott branding with the Cactus Jack logo, kind of paired with that abstract face that haunts me in my sleep. I don't know what that is, but for some reason, it always does look pretty nice on, the Jordans that Travis Scott works on. So then you're going to switch over to the right shoe. You're going to see another Air Jordan logo pop up with that Fragment logo right underneath it. And if you go back and listen, or if you've been here for a while, you'll know that I've mentioned in the past that the Fragment, it's easily one of my favorite logos for their brand. Although they kind of flopped in the eyes of the general public, the Fragment Jordan 3s is one of my favorite shoes just because of that logo kind of replacing the Nike Air on the back. They just put a big Fragment design back there. But altogether, this shoe is super tough, and I'm sure they're going to look really amazing in hand. So cross your fingers and get ready for an emotional or an anxiety-filled week, because this release is coming soon. But that does finally cover the design and the reason for the hype on these, so let's move on. All right, so for raffles and reservations, this is a release that you're going to want to really enter any and all raffles to kind of increase your probability of copying a pair, because if you're like the rest of us, or at least myself, you don't want to leave your fate of getting these Travis Scott shoes in the hands of only the Sneakers app, because you'll likely be disappointed. But there are some raffles that have begun to open up for these, a few of them being SVD, which is going to be an in-app raffle. So if you haven't already, go ahead and download that app and fill it out. And then there's also an online option for in clothing that's already open as well. And I'm sure that there will be some more to come. So just make sure you keep an eye on our website, where you can find that at www.shoewear.co. And that's where we update raffles every day as they continue to open and close. Or you can always just refer back to this video, because we always do leave a link in the description to our blog post. That's just another way you can access that part of that way to get the raffles. But now I'm going to let Chase take over so he can let you know what sites are releasing these, what the aftermarket looks like, and your best chance on how to cop it there.
All right, it's time to look at what sites are dropping these highly anticipated Travis Scott lows. And I hate to say it, but it looks like there's not going to be a lot of pairs that are actually releasing them. Most of them will be raffling them. So like Landon said, definitely visit our website so you don't miss any of those raffles. But at the time of this recording, it looks like you got 3 chances. So your first chance will be on Nike Sneakers app at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Your second will be at Kith. And then your third will be at Travis Scott's own website. Now, Kith isn't currently confirmed yet, but they did get the Travis highs in. So I am assuming that they will be getting the lows as well. And then lastly, you have Travis Scott's website, which they did do a raffle, but they have been known in the past to do shock drops. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And then also all of the links that we mentioned, or the sites that we mentioned, will be on the website. And then lastly, I do want to mention that if you live in Los Angeles, California, Foot Locker is doing something special and will be releasing them in store for only Los Angeles, California residents. So definitely check the app and see if you're eligible there. But moving on, let's look at the average sale prices on the aftermarket. Now, as a disclaimer, the prices you see could change as we get closer to the drop, but also on our website, there will be links to the most up-to-date sale prices for you guys to check out closer to the release date. Now, starting off with StockX is at an average whopping $1,970. Goat sitting at $3,250. eBay is at $2,000 and Flight Club is also at $3,250. When it comes to stock numbers, we try to give you guys the most accurate info as possible, but right now there's nothing that is concrete for the stock numbers, but I am going to assume that these are going to be extremely hard to get no matter what. Now, to give you an idea of how hard it's going to be, let's look at the Travis highs drop that happened a little bit ago. Now, so overall, the stock was in the low thousands. Most of the stock was distributed between Nike Sneakers and Travis Scott's own website. We know that because looking at Kith stock, it was only 20 pairs, which is insane to think about because Kith usually gets a large amount of stock when it comes to a typical hype release. Now, also on top of all that, super hype drops come with a lot of backdooring. Now, I'm not going to really get into what backdooring is in this video, but if you want a dedicated video on backdooring, let us know in the comments down below. But enough talking about stock. Let's talk about what I think the resale will be after the release. So going off current resale prices and now knowing how much stock there will be, I'm gonna assume my prediction for the Travis Scott Fragment lows is at least a minimum of $1,000 to a $1,500 shoe. If you are able to cop, that would net you a profit of at least $750 to $1,200 per pair. Now, should you hold or sell this Travis Scott Fragment low? If it were me, I'm gonna definitely hold. But if you are wondering why, here are 3 reasons why. So number 1, it's gonna be the collab itself. If you have watched our other videos or How to Cops, you know that anything that Travis touches turns to gold. And not only is this a Travis Scott collab, but it's also a Travis Scott collab and a Fragment collab, which is even more unique. Now, number 2, the model itself. Even if you didn't know that or like Travis Scott, there's something about that backward swoosh on these recent collabs makes it so appealing and really creates a lot of demand. And finally, number 3, the stock. Like all Travis drops, the stock is very limited and the demand will continue to climb, especially when the quantity of unworn or dead stock pairs becomes less and less with people wearing them. With these lows only retailing for $150, this is an amazing long-term investment.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for episode 43 of How to Cop for the Air Jordan 1 Low Fragment and Travis Scott collab. Thank you guys for stopping by to check us out. For more sneaker news, available shoes for sale, or just anything that we do, click the link in the bio and check that out.
Also, feel free to interact below and let us know what shoe you want to hear about next. But until next episode,